Thank you, class, for your invitation. So about this cloud, there was a brief mentioning from class and also Hans in the beginning. I'm going to talk about cloud that we are going to build. So we have some money from Research Council to build a machine learning optimized infrastructure for Norwegian researchers. So this proposal has been around for about 3, 4, 5 years, but it got finally approved, mainly because I think because of the AI awareness that we have these days. We have all the main partners with us as well. When considering this amount of money that we have, the numbers are there to show you that in the AI infrastructure demography, the way things are built, this is not too much. So we have to strategize on how to optimally use this. So the strategy that we are going to use is to consolidate the existing infrastructure, which means that some of the infrastructure Hans showed in Tromsø, Trondheim, and also Lumi in Finland, they are spread across. So our aim is not to build something in parallel, but to combine them and to fortify them with more power, so people have access to more resources, not on one place, but they are able to use where they are. And the scalability. So now we have a great need for these resources. The need will increase in the future. But how much that increase, it's hard to anticipate you could roughly estimate, but it's hard to buy a lot of things and keep running for a future use. So what we're going to do is to make a scalable solution so we can expand it. And also our data, so we'll be talking about, there was something about this democratic algorithms before. So we have a challenge for infrastructure. When it comes, there's a democratic challenge there as well, which means that all researchers with a lot of access to a lot of power, they can do more things than researchers who don't. So we're going to make the data available in an accessible way and infrastructure available for them as well. So we have the competent staff spread across Norway and also internationally. So we're going to have a pool, so it's not as like one institute, but they'll be helping each other and helping Norwegian researchers as a team. In addition to that, we'll provide not just infrastructure as service, but support comes with it. So this support will be something more towards research support in addition to being system support, how to install things and also to how to run things. So we'll plan to provide a lot of support and also the access. It should be easier to use. So when we talk about the migration to a cloud, so we're not going to, the idea is not that we build something very unique and people will start using it already. We want to support people who can run their models, train their models in their local systems, and then move upwards when the resources, when they need the resources. So when it comes to machine learning, so you could think of like two main things. One is the training the model and then consuming the model. So if you go to your web browser and start typing ChatGPT.ai, I think, then you ask a question. So that question goes to a computer, and that computer gives you a result. So that process do not need much resources. But in order to come to that point, you need to have a lot of data points with a lot of parameters to train. So that training part can only big companies do now. For example, Microsoft and Google, they have the resources. So, but the average researcher, even though they might have a better model, they can't actually reach that level of the level that the ChatGPT folks reach because they don't have access to resources. So that we're going to support them from their laptop. For example, the laptop would have some power So we call them like compute cores. Usually, an average laptop would have like 8 cores. And a bigger machine, bigger server that we have would have 64 cores. So these cores would break down your bigger problem into manageable small chunks. So you can process them parallelly. So if you have a problem that needs, if you going to solve it one by one, if it takes 64 days, if you recruit 64 cores, you can do it in 1 day. So then we need to introduce them to GPUs. So you might be hearing a lot about GPUs these days. So in addition to this computer, the core, the CPU that we're using, so now for the machine learning, you need more cores. So we are talking about GPUs. So if an average laptop has 8 cores, a powerful GPU would have like 6,000 or 7,000 cores, or even the latest one, about 8,000 cores. So compared to 64, we have 8,000 cores, but to reach those cores, you need to optimize your processing. You have to break down the bigger problem into smaller manageable problems and then use them. So you have to go up to a national resource with more cores, and then international partnership, the LUMI that mentioned before, and then even that's when you reach that ceiling. So we are experimenting with the commercial cloud, like the Google, Oracles, Azures, Amazons. So the Norwegian researchers would be able to do their same analysis without refactoring on the cloud. So refactoring is that changing a lot of things. They could take the same thing they've been using their local computer and take it upwards. So potentially, if this works perfectly, they have unlimited access, depending on how much we can pay for that. So the initial model would be, this is not the final interface, but the idea is that people would land on one place and they will log in on one place, and they'll be redirected to different places according to their need. But the way they do things would be uniform. And we'll provide help on all those cases. And they will upload their data, and that data would be accessible from all these locations as well. So the idea is that instead of building something big in one place, we are going to build smaller things and help these are not very small, by the way. So we're going to fortify them, we're going to improve them, and then provide the users some way to do the analysis in a more or less uniform way. So then I think we have done a survey initially. So the survey and afterwards talking to the researchers, one main issue we will have is the vendor locking. So the Norwegian researchers and also the international researchers, they are used to do things in a certain way. And that made them use certain libraries, certain software programs, and certain hardware. So because this hardware is very sought after internationally, everybody wants to build AI infrastructure. Even if we have money, we can't buy them. So we can't buy them at once. So we have to actually use the things we have, and also train the users to think beyond how they execute and help them to understand what they want to do. So we can have access to more technology. So that's all I'm going to introduce here, because I'm talking about something we're going to build, not something you can access today. So, but your input is welcome. Please do contact. And our dissemination partner is Noora. So you can contact via them as well. Thank you for your attention.